But we need to start putting losses and adversity on a pedestal, not hiding it. As somebody who's really over-indexing on Instagram and Snapchat, just back to parents here, real quick, just real talk, something I've never said publicly. If you and your spouse are going through a rough patch and you're fighting and it's not on point and your kids are seeing it, and then you go to Disneyland and take a photo with the family and make it seem like everything is awesome, you're setting up your kids for some terrible shit. Keep that in mind. And you can use that example for all the under 30s that may not have a family. Fronting, posturing, or my favorite that all of you bought into, fake it until you make it, look the part. Let me tell you, for all the homies that live life looking the part, for all you wearing fake watches and a suit that you can't afford because somebody told you that you have to look the part to win, let me tell you who you're fooling with your look the part. Other losers. Bro, the reason it's still in there is because it's hard to... I believe people don't realize by actually saying something out loud and getting the poison out. I believe there's 3 to 4 things that are deeply inside of you that you've never said at all, that the second they come out of your mouth, whether on an Instagram video to the world or going to a forest by yourself and screaming it at the top of your lungs, I don't care how you do it, I promise you, without knowing all the details, there's poison in you that you've never said out loud. This is why I always tell people to put out all their skeletons, because that's the jail. There's no amount of money and success you're gonna make that's gonna fix that. You gotta get the poison out. And people do it in different ways. I think some people need to say it to the whole world, because even therapy is still kind of in a closed box. You know yourself, but I'm telling you, until you say it, there's people who go therapy or for 10 years and never say it. Yeah, like until you say it. You gotta say it. I've watched so many people win that game. But it's hard. The reason it's still in, bro, the reason it's still in there is because it's hard. If it's so easy, you'd say it right now.
You always think getting successful will make it go away.
It won't, because people think the outside fixes it. It's the inside. I don't have any interest in judging somebody who wants to every night.
How do you get out of the mindset, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs do this, where you start doing something and you're not really sure about it, but it starts making money, and then you make excuses. You may be doing something ethically and morally questionable, but you convince yourself, right? How do you get out of that? I see it every day. What would you say to somebody like, you know what you're doing, because we are very good at convincing ourselves, look, at the end of the day, this is paying for this is paying for this, I'm just going to do it for a short time. Many reasons, but people sort of keep doing that. Because I know people who...
I know unlimited people who do this. Right? This is a very good question by you. Look, the answer is that person is flawed.
Right.
The question is why?
Why?
My belief is it's because they're insecure and they need stuff to make themselves feel good, to show others that they're successful, because they're not happy with themselves.
Yeah, right.
And they need jewelry and success and cars and girls and planes to show everybody that they're winning, because they're not winning with themselves.
And add social media to that equation, where you get social validation on every given second.
Yep, but social media is, that person was looking for that validation pre-internet.
But social media just supercharged it for this person, right?
No, I'm actually a dissent to this voice.
Sure.
I think social media has exposed the truth of, not accelerated. That person was flexing in the office.
But now they got millions of people around the world admiring that flexing.
Yeah, but it's the same game. Whether you're trying to floss in front of 8 or 8 million, you're still vulnerable to the floss.
Sure. But the influence of you doing it at an office in front of 8 million people is enormous. You are pretty much tuning the minds of another generation.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but the reality is why? And what are you trying to do for yourself?
True.
I don't find a lot of those people being thoughtful about what they're doing for the next generation. They're too inherently selfish.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right. So
I don't think was overthinking about what he was doing for the next generation.
No, he's not.
I think, and by the way, me and everybody else, like, I think people are doing what they think is what they want to be doing.
Yeah. Well, but you at least have a conscious acknowledgement of you want admiration, and to do that you have to be good.
Correct.
Right? So you are doing good. But, you know,
yes,
people,
but for me, that's what makes me happy, and I don't have any interest in judging somebody who wants a every night. Yeah. I don't have any judgment on somebody who wants $1 billion in cash.
Sure.
I struggle with judgment, but to your point, I will only use the word luck, and I hate using that word. Luckily for me, I was structured in a way where what I want is inherently selfless.
Right.
Cool, but that leads to gratitude more than judgment.
Yeah.
More than looking around at everybody else and judging them. I just stay in my own head of being grateful for what I had. Anytime something good would happen, my mom would knock on wood and spit.
I don't know why we get so overwhelmed by when a lot of good things happen. Why is that? Sometimes?
My family, it might be an immigrant thing a little bit too. Like, it's definitely not an American thing. Like, my family is very similar. Like, my dad freaks out when things are going well.
Yeah.
He starts making things go bad because he's scared by it. I don't know, I think there's some sort of like cultural framework to it, like too much good. As a kid, when I was growing up, the number one thing that my grandma used to yell is, if there's too much laughing in the house, that means crying is next. And like now as I'm older, I'm like, that's so Soviet, like that's terrible.
My mama says that as well.
Yeah, so like, I think, right? Like, seriously, like from that Eastern Bloc, I don't know where you're from, but like I think some cultures frown upon too much happiness, or they're just like, anytime something good would happen, my mom would knock on wood and spit, like all the, like real stuff. Like, there was always this notion, and I think it's a negative, pessimistic framework based on a lot of things that have happened in the past to culture, but has nothing to do with the future. It's something you have to practice out of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.